I could be a mess, stressed in yesterday. He don't care less, he sees me anyway. Yeah, he sees me anyway. My dog thinks I'm great, he thinks I'm number one. He never hates, even when I'm done. I come home late, tracking mud on the floor.
Morning everyone. So here we are, my first vlog back. So some of you might know me and remember me from briefly starting my channel Standard Tabletop in the wonderful and weird and a bizarre world that we lived in during lockdown. I started a channel doing streaming and stuff like that, and it was great fun. I really enjoyed it, and then obviously life slowly got back to normal, and you know, life gets in the way, and you've got kids and a dog and a wife to keep happy. You know, stuff gets in the way, and then slowly but surely I've been thinking like, oh, I'd like to do some content again. You know, I enjoyed doing it before, so here I am. So I'm going to do the vlog thing again. I really liked the few, I think 2, maybe 3 episodes I did. It wasn't exactly a long running series, but I really enjoyed doing the vlog, and I think it's just a nice way to, you know, spend the time that I take Chef for a walk in the morning after, you know, or when we go out for walks in general. Yeah, I thought it'd be a good time to spend that time having a chat about what I've been playing, what I've been doing, you know, what's happening in the industry. I've worked in the board game industry now, or the tabletop industry now, in crowdfunding specifically for best part of 6 years, you know, so I know my way around the business pretty well, and I've made some great relationships and great friends over the years, and yeah, it's a joy and an honour and a pleasure to do the job I do, and I get to work with amazing people, and I love every second of it. It's great, it truly is awesome, and it's given me a life that I absolutely love, and career satisfaction that I had never really got from anything for the most part. But let me introduce you to my silent companion along these journeys. So come here, sit. Right, so this is my boy Chef. He's a 4-year-old Mastador, so he's half bull mastiff, half black lab. His dad was a very slight and quite petite black lab, but his mother was a monstrous but beautiful bull mastiff. I think an English bull mastiff. She was a lovely, beautiful girl she was, and I bought her from a lovely couple up. I bought a Chef from a lovely couple up in Birmingham for my wife's 40th birthday as a surprise for her. I've always said that, you know, Chef chose me as much as I chose him when I was looking at the pictures of the puppies that were available. There was one puppy that, I mean, they all looked beautiful, as puppies always do. But there was one puppy in particular that really caught my eye, because he had his lovely white spotted chest and a beautiful black coat. But I was very much a case of, well, I'll go up and have a look at the pups and see where everything is. And so I went into the back garden of this really nice couple in Birmingham, and met the mum and the dad, and the pups all came out, all rushing around my feet. And I mean, talk about a moment of just pure joy and elation. There's nothing more beautiful than, you know, having your feet bombarded by, I think, 10, somewhere between 9 and 10, I think the letter was. And then slowly but surely the pups all, you know, slowly lost interest in, you know, and went back into their, like a padded kennel that they had. But one pup stayed out, and one pup decided I was interesting, and he would like to know a bit more about me. And that pup happened to have a white spotted chest and a beautiful black coat. And the one who caught my eye, I obviously caught his eye as well, and that was my boy Chef. A handsome, beautiful Mastador that he is, 4 years old, a gentle and lovely soul, and just the perfect dog. He's just such a beautiful, beautiful creature, and I love him dearly, and yeah, wouldn't know what to do without him. Kido, what you doing? Someone is always thinking with their stomach. Sit. Good boy. Yeah. If you got a treat, he's happy. So yeah, I'm going to go on our first little walk and have a chat about what's been going on and what I've been up to, and we'll go from there. So yeah, what have I been playing lately? Well, so this weekend actually I got to play something I haven't played for ages. So I grew up playing mass battle miniatures games, Games Workshop, mainly 40k and stuff like that. And yeah, this week I had the joy of playing me and my son Elliot played our first game of Grimdark Future, which is the one-page rules. It's their setting for Warhammer 40,000, you know. And it was great. I was so impressed with it. Their rule set obviously was developed to be a rule set that was on one page, and fundamentally it is, you know, two-sided sheet of A4 paper, and it's one page. Where are you going? Here you go. Yeah, it's all on one page. There is the advanced rules, which have a lot more information, a lot more, you know, deployment and scenarios and terrain and all these kind of things. But the fundamental and basic rules are on one sheet of A4 paper. And those rules are just so impressive. You know, I'm used to considerable amount of stats. You see the boy behind me? Where is he? There he is. Yeah, I'm used to considerable amount of statistics, you know. Yeah, I grew up, you know, with rule sets that had loads of stats, you know, movement, weapon skill, ballistic skill, initiative, attacks, wounds, toughness, strength, leadership, you know, all those things. But the beauty of Grimdark Future, and essentially all of the one-page rules for the most part, you know, they're actually sort of, for the most part, they've made a rule set that works across all their range of games. A miniature or a unit only has technically two stats. So you have your quality and you have your defense. So essentially, if your unit wants to do something, it rolls its quality. And you know, they'll have a weapon which will say A brackets something and a number within it. So it might say A2. And that basically means each individual within the unit will roll 2 dice and try and get its quality on a D6. So, you know, they might have quality 3+, and that's what they've got to get. And then the opposing unit, once you've decided how many hits you've got, sorry, I have to spin around every now and then because he wraps the lead around me. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so you roll your hits, you get however many successes you get, and then the opposing unit will take that amount of D6, and they will try and get that many pluses of whatever they need for their defense roll. And it's really that simple. Where it gets, you know, it adds, you know, you might sit there and go, well, that's too simple. It's boring. That's not good enough. But then it's all got special rules after that. So where you might have A2, then it might have, which means your rolls are reduced by, so therefore you're trying to get a higher, your number you're trying to score is higher than the one in the first place, or might make it so you don't have. Then all the units are then sort of tailored and made kind of interesting and different by all their various special rules, you know, which can be like, as you don't have wounds, you know, you have the rule tough, and it will be tough brackets a number, and that basically means, so if something's tough 3, it means it's got 3 wounds, so you've got to do 3 damage to it before you kill it. And those wounds obviously stack up, and you mark it on the miniature of the unit in some way or form to show that it's taken damage, and you know, eventually you kill it off. Then you've got things like blast, which might mean that the save you little extra buff you get to your defense from cover might be taken away, or you know, a weapon can hit more than, you know, if it hits a unit, it might be blast 3, so it might be that it hits the unit for 3 hits if there are at least 3 things within said unit. Yeah, so you know, the other really cool thing that really impressed me about one-page rules in the system is they have, I think it's called the Army Forge, which is their online army builder, and it's so goddamn good. It's so clean and simple. You tell it, you know, what rule system you're playing. Then you look at all the various armies that it's got in it. It's got so many all built into it. This is all free mind. Yeah, you know. So you choose whatever your army. You might have a Prime Brothers, which is Space Marines to anybody in the legal department. You then choose what points you're going to play a game of, and then yeah, you start picking your army, and then so you choose a unit of whatever they are, you know, like a sort of classic tactical unit, and then once you've chosen that unit, you can make it a combined unit. So usually the units start at 5 models each, but obviously lots of units, you might want 10 of them. So you click on combined unit, and that makes it doubles the points of the unit, but makes it 10. And then you'll have the options below it to replace one of the machine rifles, bolt guns, to a heavy machine gun, heavy bolter, and you know, changed one to a plasma rifle or something like that, you know, the classic loadouts you'd have. And then also you get the option to change one of the units to a sergeant and what loadout said sergeant's going to have. You know, all of the stuff is in there. It's all in there, ready and built and put together, and it's brilliant. Like I say, I'm so super impressed with what they've done with the rule system and the Army Forge. And then, like, once I told my son about how cool this, bugger me, it's hot. So at the moment we're in the midst of our second heat wave of the spring/summer, and this is why me and Chef are going for one of our longer walks now before it gets too hot, because you know, I can't bring him out later as I normally would. Has to stop for something. Is it so desperate to sniff that plant? Was that plant that interesting? Thank you. What was I saying? Yeah, so it's just so hot at the minute, but god damn it, you know. But he won't, you know, I've taken for a good walk in the morning, because if I think the logical thing would be, oh, a good walk in the morning and a good walk in the evening. Well, by the time it does get cool enough to walk your dog on any tarmacked or path road, it's probably best part 7:30, 8 o'clock, maybe even a bit later. Well, Chef, very much, once it gets to 7:30, he is stretched out on what's basically turned into his sofa, a 2-seat sofa in our living room. He's basically stretched out over that. And you have a look at the horses, buddy. You looking for the horses? Yeah, he's stretched out on the sofa, and the last thing he wants to do is go for a walk. So it's in this sort of heat, he only really gets a good morning walk, you know. But hopefully, because of doing this vlog, he'll get a little bit of an extra walk that we wouldn't usually have, and it's good for me and it's good for him. Sweating though, sweating. I suppose I am wearing black, which probably wasn't the cleverest of things to do by me. But yeah, go briefly back to Grimdark Future. Really looking forward to playing more of it with Elliot. I'm going to dig out my old Space Marines and Tyranids, and yeah, really good forward to it. Stop eating the grass. What else have we been playing? So it's all been a bit chaotic as of late. Haven't managed to have as many game nights as we tend to do on a Wednesday, just because kids, being parents, adults, grown-ups, as we like to think we are, not necessarily true. But still been loving Bombusters. Me and the boys, Steve, Ian and Summers. We're now, I think we're at, God, I want to say we're at like 38, something like that, episode 38 or set 38, however you describe it, I'm not sure, of Bombusters. And I won't say too much because obviously I don't want to spoil it for people, but yeah, Bombusters, you know, it's this really cool deduction game where you are bomb disposal rabbits, as you would be, and said rabbits are trying to just, diffuse a bomb, and you have a whole load of wires in front of you on like one of those little Scrabble tile holders. In amongst all those tiles will be a mixture of red wires which sit between two numbers, so you might have a 7.3 or something like that, or a 7.5, whatever they call it. So it on your tile holder, when you line them all up 1 to 12, it will sit between 7 and 8. And then you have yellows which do the same thing. Now if you at any point cut a red wire, boom, Bob goes off. If you cut a yellow wire when you shouldn't, you lose a life, and you have as many lives as you have players, basically, or no, you have 2 lives more than players, I think it is. Then essentially you're trying to deduce from information that you've got from your compatriots, teammates, and yeah, you're trying to deduce which of their numbers are which based on the information you know, and what's been cut so far and stuff like that. So once you cut a wire, you reveal said wire, and you'll reveal wires on your side as well. And yeah, and then basically the way the system works is there's kind of that base level, you know, which is a kind of any classic game of Bombusters, that's how it works. And then all these kind of scenarios, I say with inverted commas, the scenarios work with just changing things up. If you've ever played, so it just changes things up, so you might have a different combination of red to yellow wires. You might not know, you might have 3 red wires, but only 2 of them will be in there, but you don't know which of the 3 it is. So you might know that it could be a 3 something, a 4 something, or a 7 something, but you don't know if it's, you know, which 2 of those 3 it is. And then there's been lots of cool little things added in, like having to cut certain set of numbers in order. Like you might have a deck of cards that says 2, 4, 6, and 7, and it basically means that with regards to those numbers, you've got to cut them in that order. So you can't cut 4, 6, or 7 till you cut 2, and then once you cut 2, you can start cutting 4. You can cut the others as you like, But 2, 4, 6 and 7 have got to be done in that order. And then all sorts of, they've just done so many clever things to, keep it really interesting. And what's he found? What's he after? Absolutely nothing probably worth having a look at, but he's happy. He's getting hot though, bless him. You getting hot, buddy? Oh, thank you for that slobbery shake. Lovely. Want a treat? Yes, of course you do. Can you see him from there? No. Good boy. Yeah, so Bombusters we're still loving. It's game night tonight. So we've had various things like the football and the World Cup getting in the way of said game night. Sorry for having to do that spin. I hope that doesn't make everybody suddenly feel randomly nauseous, if my face isn't going to make you feel nauseous enough as it is. So the football, the World Cup, which we've all been enjoying, has been getting in the way a little bit. But we should hopefully be back to regular game night. Hopefully we'll be getting back to the table with Iridia, the Paths We Dare Tread, which is... It's all right, he's just doing some drilling. You're not gonna, you'll survive. Yeah, so Iridia, the Paths We Dare Tread, it really is a Dungeons and Dragons board game, but it's he's done a beautiful job with it. It's not exactly Dungeons and Dragons, but it might as well be. There's a few things that make it a bit unique, but lots of crossover outside of that, for the most part. Classic dwarves and orcs and goblins and kobolds and giant spiders, giant rats, and so forth. But you've got this really cool sort of hex map of the world that you're in, or the little region of said world. And what you do is, when you move to a new section, the hexes are like indented tiles into this sort of dual layer board or whatever, and then that reveals what's at said place. And then you kind of sometimes go into like a zoomed in version of like a grid, of like a board game, dudes on a, in a scenario kind of thing, might be within a village square, and then you'll have the various buildings around it which you can then walk into, and the sort of environment opens up with all this clever card system. And so we've had probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 good sessions so far of Iridia. We're probably best part of a couple of months, I think, because we've actually been able to have a game of it. So I think we'll all be kind of trying to piece together memories of what the hell is actually happening at the moment, and what we were trying to do and where we were trying to go. But yeah, it's got a really good system. The way it's all developed, lots and lots of cards, cards for all the NPCs and the baddies and everything like that. But as you do stuff in the series, in the story, it'll say like NPC 313A, and then you might go through a bit of story or have a conversation with them, or return a talisman that they were after. Horsefly biting me. You might talisman to them, and then it asks you to replace card with NPC 313B. So then those conversation options and stuff like that will now change based on the new sort of story and how that person is now. So yeah, really clever system, and he's done I think it's Cody, Far Off Games, and it's just such a ridiculously great job putting together this amazing system and world. It just works brilliantly. Really, really good. Really looking forward to getting back to that. So those who know me well Also know I'm a avid weightlifter. Not nearly as good as I would like, but hey, I am 44. Yeah, those who know me well, I'm avid weightlifter. I love going to the gym, and it's kind of it's a very big change. Again, kind of lockdown, same thing. Always been a naturally sort of big, strong guy, and I was doing some gardening. Bloody horseflesh chasing me about. Yeah, I was doing something in the garden when we were in lockdown. I was moving something quite heavy, and it's one of those things. I moved it across the garden, put it down, and I thought, bugger me, that was heavy. And I just thought, that shouldn't have been as heavy as it was. I should have been able to do that far easier than I did, and not feel like I did having done it. And it sort of dawned on me that I was now past 40. I was now working from home, so I was kind of, bloody hell, he fell over. Now working from home, sat on my bum most of the day in my office upstairs, and and then so I probably was not only just losing some of my kind of, natural strength, but I was, not necessarily, keeping up with, some of the stuff that has kept me in somewhat better shape. I would argue, I wouldn't argue, and nobody else would argue, that I've ever been in shape. I've been a big boy most of my adult life, but that did come with being a naturally big, strong guy. So it wasn't, without benefit. Should we walk up the church path? Nice and shady, not so warm. So when, my life had very much changed in that, now I was working from home, and, all that time I'd spent through my life in my career commuting, which, I mean, God, if you added up the hours I'd wasted doing that, you'd be very depressed. So I thought, well, now I'm not doing the commuting, and I just got to walk the kids to school each day and back and forth. It's time to get off my arse and have a go. So yeah, I got into sort of weightlifting at the gym and sort of powerlifting to a degree, because a condition I've got called ankylosing spondylitis. I can't powerlift in the strict rules of powerlifting, as it were. So I've got my things I do and the way I do them. But, if you're not competing, you're only competing with yourself. So, yeah, so I love it. And, so I'm currently working on trying to strict press 100 kilos over my head. This morning, went to the gym and, felt in general pretty good. And then lo and behold, I put 95 kilos up and over my head, and I did it, to be honest, with ease. It went up so smooth. I think I just got myself properly in the rack position, beautifully, just lined it all up perfectly, and it just fired so perfectly, which was great. It was such a nice, pleasant surprise. That was lovely. But, I look forward to another session later in the week. I try and go at least 3. I try and go 4 without question. Monday, Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But when my wife's at work during the week, it's a little bit harder. So I try and catch, if I'm feeling good, I'll try and catch an early morning session, maybe on a Wednesday or Thursday morning, or a Tuesday morning maybe. And yes, that was a nice Wednesday morning session this morning. I get up at like 5 in the morning to go to the gym. I'm very much one of those, I like to work out fasted, i.e. not having eaten yet, and also just kind of first thing in the morning, first thing of the day. I find I'm one of those people, the later the day goes on, the more reasons I can drum up in my own head why not to go. Sorry if this sun is rather bright, but not much I can do about that because it's fucking hot, as I said. So yeah, that was a nice surprise this morning. What else have we been doing? I don't know, maybe that's enough for this first session. I think that's a good vlog. Chef said a good walk, very hot. Looking forward to, I imagine, laying on his cool mat, having a nice drink when he gets back. Or knowing him, he'll be extremely hot and extremely bothered. So he'll find a really nice, bright, hot patch of sun to lay in and soak up because, well, bless him, love him as much as I do, he's a moron. So, yeah, I'm going to sign off there. Hope you've enjoyed the first vlog, and all the best, and thanks very much. Bye.
I could be a mess, stressed in yesterday. He don't care less, he sees me anyway. Yeah, he sees